So we've spoken about what we think young people should do, which is about self-awareness, finding the right fit of, I suppose, risk appetite between yourself and the corporation you want to work for, or just do it yourself, right? Which, I suppose you eventually end up doing, you did as well. We've spoken about the most frustrating thing that we've encountered at work. What would you say is I think we've done enough look back. And I take a point, right? And your disclaimer about, looking back, not so good. May not be able to generalize this to the audience, right? Mm-hmm. So let's change it up a little bit. And let's talk about what is that one skill you think if you are starting out fresh today, right? 2024, in the age of ChatGPT, AI, whatever, in the middle of climate change, heat wave, will probably end in 2 years' time. What is the one skill you think is the most important to develop now as a young, executive or just coming into the workforce? Yeah, go for it.
Please. So in terms of skill, and I'm not just talking about a person starting now, at any point in your career, it's good to have a set of skills, tangible and intangible skills. Like technical skills are good. They help you get things done. Communication skills are good. They help you get your ideas across. Being able to understand the other person's point of view, being able to put yourself in their shoes, having good common sense.
Define good common sense.
It's not very common.
It's not that common, right? Yeah, exactly.
If you have to ask for that, then it means
making sense of why things are the way they are. Yeah, rationalizing things. Just raw intelligence. All these are great advantages, and I can say I've been blessed with many of them. I have good technical skills. I went to a good school. I feel I communicate well enough. I've been taught to possess raw intelligence, which has been a boon and a bane for me, because sometimes it puts people at their defense. Yeah, on their defensive. They may see it as a threat in a way. But besides all these skills that you can go and pick up or hone along the way, the one, if you have to ask me to name one, the one that I learned to appreciate very, very late in life is kindness. And part of it has to do with where I grew up. Where I come from, basically humility and kindness are reserved only for the losers who have nothing else to show for it, right?
Right.
So you're humble.
A bit of a hustle,
you're humble because you have nothing else.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll be proud of it, right? That's the mentality, and this is horribly idiotic way of thinking.
Self-defeating in a way.
Very much, and the reason is very simple. That no matter how technical you are, how well you communicate, how intelligent you are, or how impressive you look or speak, ultimately, to do anything, to succeed in business or in career, you have to deal with people. Whether you're in a corporation and you're dealing with your manager, with your peers, with your direct reports, or whether you're in a startup and you're trying to attract clients or investors, or your vendors or business partners, you will be dealing with people. And your ability to manage these people's relationship is probably 10% a function of your technical skills and your communication and so on. And it's 90% a function of your humanity. Because how people relate to you is really a function of your humanity.
I think that's important for, I guess,
90%
career.
Importance comes from your humanity.
Well, Vladimir Barzov, you have grown up.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So if you want to get anything done in this world with people, which is the only way you can get things done.
Until the great robot AI takes over anyway.
Yeah, until then. So the key word here is people.
Yeah.
And the way to access people is through the heart, not through the brain. Yeah? Nobody want to work with a very smart asshole. It's just not nice.
They might tolerate him, right? They might tolerate him.
He's good at what he does. He's effective at what he does, but he's not effective outside of that. Because nobody likes him. Nobody want to work for him. All his ideas are going to be stopped because of his personality, right? But if you're a kind person, if you're just nice, nothing more than that, people warm up to you. People trust you more. People are willing to work with you. And this is the first precondition to being able to do anything with them. Yeah. To be able to influence people, to get things done, you have to win their trust. You have to have a good relationship. And kindness is probably the single best thing you can do, being kind, to open up that relationship. Okay?
Okay. Well, very deep. Almost touching.
And one more thing, kindness doesn't make you look weak, like I believe. I believe that if you show kindness, if you're humble, people will think you're weak. If you're weak, they'll step over you and get ahead, right? You have to be strong. You have to be nasty. It's stupidest thinking, yeah. Kindness is not a sign of weakness. In many cases, kindness is a sign of strength. If you see the biggest leaders, the most successful people are always very humble. They've reached a height, and when they look down, it humbles them. So the most successful people are also some of the most humble. That should be a good guide as to why humility is not a weakness.
Right.
I seconded you. I second you.
Yeah, you second him. Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
Right.
So you agree? Yeah.
On being kind. So you stole it. And then lately you stole be humble. So I wanted to add being humble. So that's my input. But he stole it as well. So what do you mean? Being kind and being humble at the same time, or?
Not the same thing. I'm just saying these are the elements of humanity that you don't think of as skills. When you go to a job interview, you think they're going to be judging you based on, your ability to write code or your ability to write a presentation and present slides. And this is probably part of it. But if you want to be successful, you'll be dealing with people. How they perceive you becomes much more important than how well you code. And how they perceive you be a function of your personality, of your personal traits.
Yep. So, and
people don't really think about that as skills or something that they should work on.
Okay.
So for one, I wish I was less aggressive. I was more understanding of people, more emphatic. And it would have helped me for all practical reasons to reach people, to influence people, to get things done. If I was just less Vladimir and more human, more nicer person.
Nice human.
Come on.
Kind human, man.
I always strongly suspected that you were human. So thanks for confirming it today. I have confidence in you, my friend.
More humane, right?
Right, humane. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The language thing. Yeah. Singapore English not so good. Actually, on a serious note, right? I think that, and we may have talked about this the other day, which is I saw this video on YouTube, some documentary, right, about the game of life. I think it was Veritasium. There was a channel, and they talked about they were running simulations and competitions for what is the best behavioral model in a game theory simulation, right? So, the whole prisoner's dilemma when you end up killing each other, when actually if you cooperate, you get a better outcome. So the choices are betray or cooperate. Those are the only two actions your AI can take. And you can program your AI to always betray, always cooperate, or a mixture of the two. It can be random. You could follow some complicated logic. And I think at the end of that simulation where they tested all these different AIs against each other, the one that was most successful was something called tit for tat. Right? Which is if I will start out cooperating, but if you screw me, I'll screw you back. Right? But they realized that wasn't the best because it led to a situation where the moment the AI is betrayed, then you get into that cycle where you constantly just betray each other, right? So they managed to optimize that and create an even better outcome by injecting some randomness, like 10% randomness, to say that.
So I'll forgive at some point.
Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right? Which I suppose, correlates with kindness in a way, right? To say that, I'm the bigger man. I don't have to always screw people. And sometimes it's just a misunderstanding, right? People are not actually out to screw you. They're just being themselves, right? And if they're the bigger person, over time, you will have a better outcome. So interesting thing, look it up.
So the starting point is being kind, or
no? The starting point is
first.
Don't.
If they cooperate, you cooperate. If they betray you, you betray them.
No, but at first, cooperate first, right? Or
betray. You always want to open and cooperate, because if you open and betray, you end up betraying each other all the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? No matter what kind of opponent you're facing.
And
because cooperate in that game theory matrix has a better outcome than betrayal.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
More determined.
It's just that the Nash equilibrium, the equivalent falls to betrayal because you can't trust the other party not to betray you.
Yeah.
Right.
And the randomness factor is 10% or
10, 20%, something pretty low. right?
Okay.
So that you're not bullied. Like the always betray or frequently betray algorithms don't take advantage of you. But at the same time, you're giving them a chance to say, okay, maybe you are actually not an evil algorithm, right? That you also have
be rational, be practical, but keep a little bit of forgiveness.
Yeah, keep some humanity.
Keep some humanity.
Keep some humanity.
How much better that versus
I can't remember. It was a
being
YouTube
humble.
video.
Well, I'm just extending.
The always cooperate model didn't do so well because they eventually got taken for a ride. Right?
Okay.
The always betray model, in a way, it ends up being everybody is just attacking them.
Yep, they can't go far, right?
Yeah, they don't do well either. So it's that tit for tat, but with some
the Machiavellian kind doesn't really succeed much.
The what? The Machiavellian, yeah.
Yeah, the naive type also doesn't.
Gets run over, yeah.
Being a bit of a mix. Being...
But skewed positive, right?
Yeah.
Skewed positive.
So give people the benefit of doubt. Assume their intentions are good, but provision for them not being good. If they're bad, retaliate. But every once in a while, forgive retaliation and strike a chord again with them.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. I think that carries some practical advice to life as well.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing. I don't know whether the video was like a 15-minute long video. I don't know whether they were trivializing this whole thing. And game theory, of course, is highly, highly theoretical, right? Because real life has so many other variables, and so many other actions that you can do. But it's an interesting way to look at it, right? Okay, cool. Well, there's that. I think we have time for one last question, which is, so both of you have a lot of experience with entrepreneurship. Crypto, DeFi, technology, right? What would you say in your entrepreneurship journey is the most interesting or exciting or memorable memory? Vladimir.
For me, it was a long time ago.
Well, you're kind of an entrepreneur now. You're working for yourself half the time.
A little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, being an entrepreneur gives you a bit of a high. You have something to look forward to. You have high hopes, which alternate with periods of despair. Basically, life is a high volatility event. Things are looking up great, and then suddenly it's the end of the world, and then there is hope again. And you live through those ups and downs, and you suffer a lot of pain along the way because you believe in something. So it's great and horrible way, basically, to exist. I'm glad I've done it. I wouldn't do it again, not at this age. You probably want to do it at least once in your lifetime when you're young, because you really learn a lot. You learn about yourself. You stretch yourself in any dimension. You learn to be a salesperson and a product manager, a technologist, and a customer at the same time. And you're pitching to investors, and you're pitching to friends, and you're convincing people to work for you, and it's ups and downs, and you really stretch yourself and learn a lot. So it's probably the best training you can get, and you get a lot of appreciation for every role that's out there, right? Because if you spend your whole career being an accountant, you'll never know what a sales guy does or what a product manager does. Well, when you're a founder of a startup, you do everything, so you have to learn everything, and you may not be best at everything, but at least you get an appreciation of what it is to do each function in a company. So later on, when you join a big company, you can really relate to what everybody else is doing on a much larger scale, of course, but you still have an idea what they're doing, why they do it. So it's a tremendous learning platform.
Okay. And interestingly that, you picked up your insights on managing stakeholders, I guess, managing relationships, right?
That's a big part of it, yes.
Yeah. From more startup or from your corporate experience?
Well, both. Actually, both. In startups, it's all about managing relationships. You're pitching an idea to investors. You have to win their trust. You have to pay or incentivize people to work for you. You have to sell the dream to them. It's a lot of selling. It's a lot of trust building. It's a lot more selling actually than building a product if you think about it. Yeah. So the ability to influence people or to win their trust is tremendously needed in a startup. Probably much more so than in a corporate world where you're worldview is much more limited, where you interact with just a few people, and these are the only people that you need to manage, your boss and your peers, and that's about it, right? As in a startup, it's basically you and the world, and you have to influence left, right, and center. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So whatever I said was very applicable to corporations, but doubly so to startups. Yeah?
Okay, fair, good. Vin,
again, I think he stole what is in my mind, but yeah, I think so. I second him again. Most of the stuff, yeah. This is my second. So DBOE is my second
startup
venture or startup. Right. Yeah. The first one didn't last long. So
what did the first one do?
Oh, it was about like sharing application. Sharing application. So it's similar like Dropbox, but with the sharing features. Like students can share movies or share a deck or like a PDF file to their friends. Yeah.
Okay, so you basically just need to log in and have an account, and you store that file once. You don't have to pass it around.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And
sounds pretty cool. What happened?
The technology is if it's the same file, then we don't have to.
Yeah.
We just keep one instance of the file. We don't have to keep many. Right. So it's about something like deduplication. Yes. Yeah. Right. But it didn't last long because I didn't really like follow through my dream, and I mean, I was young and also dumb at the time. So this is my second try, and probably it's the last.
But before we get to that, what lesson do you learn from that first one? If you do it again to make it work, rewinding a clock a bit, because now it's highly commoditized, right? This file sharing thing. Mm-hmm. But back then, when the market wasn't so saturated, and you thought that you had a real chance to get it to work, what would you have done differently?
Pitching to investors, that's a key to success, but I failed. So pitching effectively to investors, I think it needs a lot of skills or some experience as well. Mm-hmm. I was really just like a software engineer, a developer, right? Yeah, and had an idea and I made it work. Mm-hmm. Probably I'm still now, but probably even worse in the past. So it's a failure to like basically most of my pitches to investors. It didn't.
I suspect that's a common startup experience, frankly. Yep. Right, because there's just so many, and money. Well, for a while it seemed unlimited, but actually it's limited by the gatekeepers and how well they understand, how much they trust you, and how much they buy into your vision and into you personally.
Yeah.
Okay, so bridging that to the second.
So the second one is really about looking at my hair. It's being white more and more, and I don't feel I have the energy to start another one.
Sure.
No, if you look from the top, it's white. Yeah. But what I meant is, and if the higher my salary, if I work for a corporate, I think the less willing me to, just give up and start my own. Right?
Of course, it's opportunity cost.
Right. So it's a balance over there, and I think I'm really into startup. Starting something myself in the past as well, right? So I feel this is about the right time to do something, and I had an idea about using blockchain to really disrupt or make it more efficient, building up an exchange or market infrastructure, right? Using blockchain technology, right? So that's
okay. So what's the most satisfying thing that has come out of that? Since you're in the middle of it now, right?
Right. Yeah.
Everything's fully built.
I think it's a self-discovery process. Right? I understand about myself. So again, I borrowed what you said. I understand about myself. Right? Understand a lot of limitations being discovered, and it is very fulfilling. Feeling that and how vulnerable I was if I didn't do it. So I feel stronger. I feel more independent.
You know where your limits
mentally,
are. You know where your limits are.
Yes.
And you've gone past your limits in some cases.
Yes.
Right. You feel battle tested.
Yeah. And every milestone we met, I feel very fulfilling. Fulfilled. Right. And I'm proud of it.
Like when you had your, I suppose, alpha and then public beta.
Yes.
And then now going fully live.
Everything, it was
and then getting on that blockchain. Because I'm not familiar with this. You were on some chain thing.
Yeah, we are on EVM, on Polygon. We are moving
Chainlink.
Chainlink. Chainlink is our latest. If you guys read our announcements, we just joined Chainlink. We are part of the ecosystem.
Nice.
It seems they like what we are doing because we are a heavy users of what they're providing. Right? They are bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. So they provide price oracle. In the future, they might provide volatility oracle, maybe AI as well. That's something we want to
work with them on.
Yeah, to cooperate with them as well. So it seems they like what we are doing. So now we are part of their Chainlink ecosystem, obviously. Very happy with that.
Okay. And if I can respond to what you guys have said, and actually basically sum it up, although I probably do a terrible job, given that ChatGPT is much better these days, right? So I think that's what I'll do. I'll take the transcript, I'll run it through ChatGPT and see what summary it comes out, right? Or it might just fall over and die, just give up at the rubbish that we said. I would say what my own takeaway from what we said today, and actually when I look back on my career, will be really that, self-awareness is important. And sometimes people, you jump into the rat race and you chase a dream, but you kind of forget what you really want out of the whole thing, right? And what you are actually like and what suits you, right? I think that was your point about finding the right organization that fits you. I think we did a lot of reflection on what frustrates us in the corporate world. Strategies, I guess, for overcoming that, coming it back down to, staying human, staying grounded, staying humble, staying kind, right? And, when I look back, I also wish that I was kinder to people, that I understood them better, right? At some point, I did gain a reputation for being a little bit of a should I call it bulldog or fighter? And people were, in some cases, afraid of me. Because I would run them over with argument, with words, or with, what I thought was pure intellect.
Yeah.
But actually what was needed was to
you
find
win the
common
battle
ground.
but lose the war.
Yeah. So I definitely do see that, right? And my own takeaway from all this is actually, so this story that I have, I never used to like dogs because I thought dogs, not to eat. I never used to like dogs because I thought dogs were too attention seeking, right? Until I went one time to a trip to Alaska. We did dog sledding.
Okay.
And what really hit me was that, you look at the dogs there out in the field and they're all kept outside because they're bred for cold weather, right? And they want to run. You come out with the reins, they all start shouting at you, barking at you because they want to go out there and they want to run, right? And you look at them and they look nothing like sled dogs that you see in the movies. They're not uniform, right? They are all different, brown, black, white, whatever, right? They're basically hybrids. And we thought, maybe, there's just no money to make them pretty, right? But then the guy told us that actually they're not bred for looks, obviously. It's a dumb thing to breed dogs when your life depends on the dog to breed it for looks, right? They're bred for open-mindedness.
Okay.
Open-mindedness.
Which means that, you got a team of 10 dogs, they're all on a trail, you're on a multi-day journey to some distant camp, right? The last thing you want is for one of the dogs to say, to decide that it doesn't want to eat whatever food you're trying to feed it, right? You cannot have like a favorite food, so you can pack favorite food for all the dogs, right? It's insane. Or you run out of food, you need to kill something on the trail, then feed it, refuse to eat fresh meat, right? So they're bred for open-mindedness. And that hit me very deeply because that it felt like, I've been dealing with close-minded people a lot, and that really frustrates me. And I realized that it frustrates me also because I recognize it in myself. I am, in some ways, a close-minded person because I could only see my own perspective. So, human beings aren't dogs, thankfully. But at the end of the day, I think open-mindedness is my takeaway from all this, right? Which is being able to accept new experiences, being able to accept what we talked about, which is other people's perspectives and incentives. And I think...
see their point of view as well.
Yeah, see their point of view. And I think that helps you be more human and actually be a better whatever, right? Whether you're a leader or you're being led or you're doing your own thing. When you apply it to your family, I think that helps tremendously.
So great takeaways. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, let's see what ChatGPT summarizes this as, right?
My crush.
Yeah. So anyway, cool. Thank you guys for coming. Always good to have a chat, right?
Pleasure being here.
Yeah, we'll do more.
Inviting us.
We'll do more. Thank you.